Have you ever done a Ouija board? Okay, so you're not pushing. Your partner is not pushing. But somehow you're spelling out an answer to some question, right? So you're kind of doing it unconsciously on a very subtle level. That's what goes on. If I'm feeling tension in someone's neck and I want them to release some of the holding in those muscles, I'll think about releasing the tension in my own neck. I'll think about releasing the tension in their neck. I'll have my hand on their neck. And I'm sure that there are little tiny muscle movements that are going on in my hand. It's not mind control, okay? They're so subtle that I'm not aware of making them, and they're not aware of feeling them, okay? Because if I start pushing, they'll start pulling. That's how the nervous system works. The muscles don't want to be wrenched out of, their connections or anything, so they will counter anything that they feel as any kind of force. So it's not about force. So Alexander had to change to basically pretty much thinking about what he wanted the student to do rather than moving the student around, okay? Same thing happened to two great masters of equitation. One of them was at the Viennese riding school, and one of the big chandeliers fell on him when he was on his horse in the ring. And he, lost a lot of physical, and he was older, so couldn't, yank the horse around anymore. He didn't have the strength in his arms or whatever. He had to become more subtle and connect by means of signals and that kind of thing. Dressage was originally developed as a way of signaling your horse when you were fighting on horseback with the knights in such a way that your opponent couldn't see what you were doing. So you didn't know if you were going to go right or left or forward or down, back, whatever, because you were giving the horse little signals he couldn't see. They were that tiny. That's what we're talking about, and that's what Alexander teaching is. And the more you drop your excessive muscle tone, the more sensitive you become to feeling these signals. But even before you can feel them consciously, your nervous system can detect them, okay? So you may not think that anything's happening. You may not feel it. If you have a lot of tension and you drop it by, let's say, 50%, okay, you may still have so much tension that you can't feel that you've made that change. Because, if you hurt yourself and you kind of, let's say, you bang your arm or something, and you grab it with your other arm and you kind of tense that area to make it stop hurting, how that works? The little sensors in there are like little wound up nerves, like a little spring, okay? And if they're encased in muscle that's like an ice cube and really hard, they are not very sensitive. So they won't feel the pain. So if you tense it up, you can cut down on the pain. But if you're walking around tense all the time, you're not going to be feeling feedback about your muscle tone because it's going to be not very sensitive. As you start to change with the Alexander lessons and you have less excessive muscle tone, you start to become more sensitive and more able to feel this consciously. And then the process can accelerate a little bit because you can participate on a more conscious level. Yes, I am forming an intention and I'm asking a wish to release some of that excessive tension, but I don't really know what I'm doing because I can't feel it. But when you get down to the point when you can feel it, when you hit that threshold, once again, you can't communicate with your muscles by saying, drop the muscle tone by 5 ergs. That doesn't communicate.